Today we are starting our series on genetics. What is genetics? Basically, all of us know that genetics is the science of inheritance. Inheritance means the characters or different qualities we receive from our parents, from one progeny to another or the next progeny. The transfer of characters from one generation to the next. This is called the heredity. And the process by which we inherit our characters, this is called the inheritance. Now, to understand or to go into deep in the science of genetics, we need to know about the genes or DNA, which are nowadays very popular in day-to-day life. All of us know that these terms are used in a very broader sense nowadays. So, what are genes or DNA and where they are located? So, what are genes? First, then their location means where in our body they are situated. Then next, their mode of function, how do they function, and lastly how they are get transmitted, means transmission of these genes. So, to study the genetics, we need to know the location and functioning of the genes, and to locate the genes, we need to know that all of us are made up of cells. Trillions of cells we are having in our body, and in all the living organisms we are having cells. Cells, which are the basic functional unit of our life. The basic functional unit of our life. As a building that is consist of so many bricks, it is made up of so many bricks. Likewise, our body is made up of the cells, small, very small microscopic cells. These cells can be viewed only with the help of a microscope. So, what are cells? This is the basic unit of life. Now, it must be having some structure. Of course, cell, every particular cell, it is made up of a cell wall and a cell membrane. Cell wall is basically present in the plants, while the cell membrane is a unique feature of all the animals and human, of course. So, in plants, they are having both the cell membrane as well as the cell wall, which is very rigid. And the function of the cell membrane is basically the transportation across the membrane, means the cell is living in a particular environment, so the transport of all the essential minerals, water and other biomolecules is done through the cell membrane. This is selectively permeable. That means it permits only certain molecules to enter inside the cell, as well as it permits only certain molecules to go outside the cell. Then we come to the cytoplasm. I can draw a rough diagram of a particular cell. Suppose this is the cell wall or membrane. Inside here, this is the nucleus of the cell. In the center, or it may be towards any side. I am just drawing a rough diagram to show you the different parts of a particular cell. And inside the cell, the whole this area is filled with the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is basically a jelly-like substance in which the other cell organelles are embedded. So the cell organelles are inside the cytoplasm. Different cell organelles are there inside this cytoplasm, and in the center or in any position there is a inside this is a nucleus. Inside the nucleus there is a nucleolus. So what happens when we talk about the cell organelles? What are the cell organelles? Cell organelles are different small organelles present inside this cytoplasm which have a particular function. Each one of them is contributing to the cell and its functioning, and they are having very particular and very defined functions. What is the function of nucleus? Nucleus, all the DNA or the genetic material of that cell or that particular organism, it resides inside the nucleus in form of chromatin. We'll discuss in detail what is chromatin, what is the DNA, what are the genes, what are the chromosomes in our later chapters. So, and now if we talk about the cell organelles, so first of all we can say this is mitochondria. Mitochondria basically a membranous structure or this kind of thing, mitochondria, and it is called the powerhouse of the cell. Why this is called the powerhouse of the cell? Because all the cellular respiration, it takes place inside this mitochondria, and this, as a result of this cellular respiration, there is production of ATP, which is generated by the respiration of glucose. So ATP is adenosine triphosphate. These molecules, they are having a large amount of energy, and these mitochondria are found in the cells of our particular organs where their demand is very high. Means the organs like liver and other, where they are found in a large amount because they needed the energy maximum. So mitochondria, and after that we come to the Golgi bodies or the Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus, the function of Golgi apparatus is the modification and packaging of the proteins. And the packaging of proteins. Now, where are proteins? So, there are other organelles which are responsible for the production of protein. They are called ribosomes. Ribosomes are the sites of protein synthesis in our cell. Now these ribosomes, they may be free or they may be embedded on endoplasmic reticulum. The next cell organelle is endoplasmic reticulum. These are membranous structures which share their such kind of structure, and they may share their membrane up to the nuclear membrane, and inside outside they are connected with the cell wall or to the cell membrane. So endoplasmic reticulum are of two types: a smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum means these ribosomes, they are embedded on these type of endoplasmic reticulum and making their appearance as rough. So the ribosomes are the protein synthesis sites, and they are located on the endoplasmic reticulum, or they may also be found free. So in total we are having different cell organelles: the mitochondria, Golgi apparatus second, third ribosome, fourth endoplasmic reticulum, and fifth is the nucleus. Nucleus is not the cell organelle, but it have its specific characteristics, and nucleus can be seen very clearly with the help of some stains inside the cells, whether it is in resting phase or the cell is going through the cell division, it can be seen. Now the another cell organelle we may call the vacuoles. Vacuoles are having some different kind of enzymes which are helpful in different metabolic activities of a particular organism. Then in plants we are having chloroplast. Chloroplast, that means the vacuoles they are having a green color pigment which is called, all of us know, chlorophyll, and these chloroplasts are the site of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis by which the green plants and some green algae, they prepare food for the plant or for the algae. In presence of sunlight they are using carbon dioxide and water for this purpose, but the site of photosynthesis is the chloroplast. So these are different organelles. We are not talking in much detail in about the cell and cell structure, but the main emphasis was to put that where are the genes located. So genes are located inside this nucleus. They are in form of chromatin, and we'll talk later on then how genes are found in this particular chromatin. One more thing I want to tell you, that how this human body or a particular plant body or different animal bodies, they are composed of cells. As we know, the trillions and millions of cells are present, but two cells, from the cells to the human body or from the cells to a particular organism, there are different stages. The group of cells which have a similar type of function, they form tissues. Tissues like connective tissue and different kind of tissues. So a same type of cells, they are having same function, they form group of tissues. Then different types of tissues, they in total form a particular organ like liver, kidney, heart, etc. Then next step is the organ systems, or in general systems. So in our body, like we are having circulatory system. Circulatory system, it is comprised of heart and arteries, veins, etc. Likewise, the other another system we can talk about the respiratory system, digestive system. So we are having different systems in our body for the proper functioning of our body, and all these systems, they in together or they work together to form a particular organism, and they are responsible for the proper functioning of a particular organism. So you can imagine that genes are which a small, very small, minute part of our body, but it is present in all our cells. All of the cells, they are having different types of genes. It is estimated that we are having in between 20,000 to 30,000 genes in a human body. So this large number of genes is present inside this very small nucleus, which is microscopic, and this, of course, all the cells are also microscopic. So this was all about the location of the genes. Now we can talk something about that if genetics is new to us, or what are the applications of this particular science. So of course genetics is not new to the mankind. It started when the domestication of crops. So the evolution of genetics, or when does it evolve, it's not a certain date is fixed for this, but as soon as the domestication of crops and animals, when this started, this led to the use of genetics. How? Because this was purely dependent on the selective breeding. After domestication, only the better quality of crops, better species of different animals, in a particular animal different species, those were promoted. So indirectly our forefathers were using the selective breeding method, and indirectly they were using genetics, because any phenotype means what we are looking. So my phenotype is the result of my genotype plus environment. Genotype means the genes which I have inherited from my parents, and the environment, which is the environment in which I have grown, and the environment I am getting all through my life during my growing years and till date. So my phenotype is the result of genotype and environment. Same was the case when we started, or our forefathers started the domestication, and they were choosing the better species, better qualities, and indirectly they were using the genetic principles or the genes inside. So how this genes or the genetics were already in use from the start of the civilization or the domestication of crops and animals. Now we can have some insight into the applications, because each and every science, technology or any subject should have the wide applications until unless it is of no use. So why we study genetics? Because it's, of course, this is very interesting, and no life is there without the genetics, because genes are everywhere. Now we can study some applications of the genetics. So first, where it is applicable? This is, of course, applicable in the molecular biology. What is molecular biology? It deals with the DNA and all related things, and of course DNA is in we study DNA in the genetics. So genetics is helpful in the study of molecular biology. Then neuroscience. There is no field in biology which can exist without the genetics, and I must call that this is the backbone of life science. And all the emerging areas, the latest areas which are coming in the life science, the latest technologies, latest science, everything is based on the genetics. Then we come to the medicines. As we know that all medicines or a particular medicine does not suit to all. Suppose there are 100 persons suffering from a particular illness, and if we give them the same treatment, all of them will react in a different manner. So we need tailored medicines, and lot of work is going on in this direction. In coming years we will be having tailored medicine. That means according to our genotype we should get the treatment. That is the most beneficial treatment which is ever given. Then comes the forensic science. Forensic science, you might have heard about the DNA fingerprinting, which is very commonly used in parental disputes or in case of some crimes, means from the criminal side. If we can get any biological data in form of say hair or you may say the blood, drop of blood or anything like that, any biological sample if we can get from the scene of the crime, and we can go for the DNA fingerprinting, and we can get the best results. We can find out the culprit. So, and in so many other things, the genetics and the DNA related techniques are very useful in forensic science. Then our evolutionary biology. This is very helpful. Then comes the developmental biology. Then in the pharma industry, lately you might have heard about the vaccines for corona. So any vaccines which is getting ready, that is all based upon the genetic makeup of that particular virus or bacteria. So again genetics is helping in this particular field. And of course the cellular biology. This is very helpful. And if we look at the plants, so of course in plant breeding Genetics is playing a major role from the time immemorial till date. So these are the basic applications of genetics in life sciences in our lives. So this is very interesting and it has very wide applications. In our next lecture, we'll go in detail about the genes, DNA and chromosomes. Thank you.